Then it'll bring up a symbol of a microphone. You click on the microphone. It'll boost all the way down. Bring the boost down to zero, and the microphone, quarter inch off of zero.
So it's up to 100. I've got it down.
Right. We went at about 10. So record is about 10, and this is
Testing.
okay. So thing is that you might have to adjust the margin.
Testing 1, 2.
Well, you're just going to have to play with it.
Big O Tires of Evanston presents Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 with video online at KADQradio.com. Today's match is brought to you by these Rebel supporting businesses and individuals. Cowboy Motor Company, save a horse, buy from Cowboy. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Castle Rock Chevrolet, we are Chevrolet. Wyoming Dental Specialists and Rocky Mountain Care, simply the best care. Today's starting lineups are brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff. The beginning serve of each set is brought to you by the station in Randolph, and your scoreboard sponsor for today's broadcast is You Win a Title. And now it's time for a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Sports on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com.
Good afternoon and welcome to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball here on KADQ FM 98.3 and online you can watch it at KADQradio.com. And welcome to the Lady Rebel pregame show. This afternoon the Lady Rebels are here at Manila High School to take on the Lady Mustangs, and the first serve is scheduled for about 15 or 20 minutes from now. In the meantime, we have our pregame show, and here on the pregame show, we'll set up the scene, and we've also got an interview from each of the coaches, Coach Cindy Stewart of the Rebels and Coach Debbie Rose of the Manila Lady Mustangs. That's all coming up on our pregame show, so stay tuned for all that, and we'll get you starting lineups brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff. Our beginning serve of each serve is brought to you by the station in Randolph, and today's scoreboard sponsor is You Win the Title. So that's the pregame show coming up here. Rebels warming up. If you're watching online at KADQradio.com, that gal there in the gray blazer there talking with that other man is the coach is Debbie Rose. The woman there is the coach of the Manila Lady Mustangs. The Mustangs are here on our right side, which would be the west side of the gym. We're sitting on the north side, looking north to south. Rebels will be warming up here on the left side, which is the east side of the gym here at Manila High School. Now, just moments ago, the Rebel JV team won in 3 straight, 25-9, 25-20, and 15-7. And I'd expect a similar outcome in the varsity match. Now, that's still to come, but the Rebels played Manila earlier this season, and the Rebels won fairly easily in 3 straight. It was 25-17, 25-9, and 25-16. So that second set, Rebels just blew them away. The first and third sets, Manila was in it, but the Rebels got the victories there. As for Manila, now they come in at 3-5 overall this season. They're 3-3 in the region, and as we'll hear from Coach Cindy Stewart here in a little bit, the Mustangs are struggling a little bit and really fighting for their lives to get into that state tournament. Top 3 teams go from the region, and they're right now sitting at number 3, and they need a couple of wins to close out the season. Now, they've got Rich here today. Then they'll play against Tabiona. They host Tabiona next week, and that wraps up their region season. So they're kind of fighting for their lives trying to make it into that state tournament. Meanwhile, the Rebels, coming off a good day yesterday, wins at Tabiona and at Duchesne, a loss against Union last night at Duchesne High School, rather. But Rebels, that was a good victory or a good day yesterday. A tough loss against 3A Union, But nonetheless, it was a good match and something. Coach Stewart, we'll hear from her in just a bit. She recognizes that the Rebels have some weaknesses, and some of those weaknesses were really brought to the table last night against Union. So that actually, I think, can help the Rebels as they see some of those things that they really need to work on and improve on before the state tournament, October 30th and 31st. Rebels with the win yesterday over Tabiona earned themselves a region championship. Rebels are the region champions, and they'll solidify that here this afternoon if they can get the win over Manila. Well, that's today's match. We're about 15 minutes away from the first serve, brought to you by the station in Randolph. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more of our pregame show. You're listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com.
Long lines and slow traffic. Gas prices on the rise? Save yourself a trip to the big city by stopping first at Cowboy Motor Company. You no longer have to get out of Dodge to find the best deals on vehicles. Cowboy Motor Company has them in stock. Expanding inventory and plenty of money available for lending, you can now get into Dodge at Cowboy Motor Company. Strength, honesty, and integrity. The Cowboy way. Cowboy Motor Company, 100 Wasatch Road in Evanston.
It's time for the pre-winter checkup special.
Big O Tires, we go the extra mile, revving up the service to make you smile. We're in the business of customer pleasing, all the right service for all the right reasons.
Receive an oil change, 22-point inspection, brake check, and tire rotation for just $59.99.
Extra miles, the way we go, we got you covered at Big O.
Big O Tires in Evanston, 607 Cheyenne Drive.
Welcome back to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com. Time now for the Cindy Stewart pregame coaches show, brought to you by Gary McKee and Bear Lake Realty in Garden City. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back to talk with Manila Mustangs head coach Debbie Rose. You're listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ 98.3 FM, and watch the game online at KADQradio.com.
Come see why the Bear Lake Valley has become one of the hottest real estate markets in Utah. The Reserve, Bear Lake's finest resort, is a masterfully planned recreation community nestled in the beautiful Bear Lake Valley. Luxurious mountain getaways overlooking the turquoise waters of Bear Lake. With lowering interest rates, it's a great time vacation getaway. Contact BearLakeRealty.com. That's BearLakeRealty.com.
I'm here with Manila Mustang head volleyball coach Debbie Rose. And, Coach, thank you for joining me for this afternoon's interview.
Yeah, that's fine.
Can you tell me what the Manila Mustangs have done since they came to Rich a couple of weeks ago?
We've had a couple home games. We played Duchesne and we played Altamont. We beat Altamont, but we lost to Duchesne.
Now, when you guys came and played at Rich, how did you feel about that match and the way that your girls played?
Our first game, I felt really good. We played the best we've played, probably the best we have played since first game, and then the other two games we didn't do as well. But the first game, I thought the girls did really well.
That was a close match. I remember you guys were within 3 or 4 points before Rich went on a run there at the end to win that first set.
Yes, it was. It was a good match. We did a good job.
What things, looking back at that first set, what were you doing well that you know you need to get back to doing?
The girls were working together. We're having a hard time keeping our rhythm, keeping the girls playing on a consistent basis. We have highs and then we drop really low, and then we can't pass very well, and then we drop down in I have a hard time with the girls getting their self-esteem dropped, and then they don't play.
So, based on where you are in the season, how do you feel like the girls are playing? Is there a lot of room for improvement before the state tournament comes, or do you feel like you're on a good roll and reaching that kind of peak as the season comes to an end?
I think we can still do some improvement. Like I told you before, I've got a young team, and so with a young team, you can always use improvement. I only have the 3 seniors, and then we're down into sophomores playing, and so there's just a big gap there with experience, and so there's always time for improvement.
You mentioned improvement in the young team. Have you seen some good improvement out of the young players over the course of the season?
Oh yes, a lot of improvement. Just when you just don't have any juniors to play that have So you drop the sophomores with no varsity experience. It just takes time and maturity. But for their age, I think they're doing very well.
So coming up with today's match this afternoon, you have Ridge coming to town. What are your expectations against the Rebels this afternoon?
Well, we'll give them the best match that we can give them and just do our very best. And I hope that we can get some blocks in and some on them and some aces. That's always nice, and we'll do our best.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck today, and thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Find out how Chevy trucks stack up against all of the other major brand name trucks in their class. Confirm what you know or surprise yourself. Just log on to CastleRockChevy.com. Right now, you can drive any new Chevy truck off the lot for just 1% over factory invoice OAC, and ask about other rebates and offers that apply.
We're Castle Rock.
Like us on Facebook, Castle Rock Chevy in Evanston, CastleRockChevy.com.
Precious time cannot be recovered once lost, said the famous Jack Sparrow. Don't lose time driving extra miles when the dental services you need are available right here in Evanston. Do you need a root canal? Do you need your wisdom teeth pulled? Are you missing teeth and want a full and perfect smile? Do you need braces? All of these services are available from our specialists right here in Evanston. This is oral surgeon A.J. Stosich inviting you to join me and my associates. Call today to schedule an appointment at 307-789-5608. That's 307-789-5608. Save your precious time.
I'm here with Rich Rebel head coach Cindy Stewart. And, Coach, how did you feel about overall yesterday? 2 wins and a loss. Good day?
Yeah, good day. We got to get some wins under our belt and got to play some volleyball and got to learn a lot against Union.
That win over Tabiona, first off, with that win, am I correct that earned you the regular season championship or the first place from the region?
Yeah, we'll be the region champions for sure today. We already are, but this one today against Manila will make us undefeated.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks. It was fun.
How did you feel about the wins over Tabiona and Duchesne?
I thought Tabiona was much improved, and it was a fun match because they brought something back at us, and we got to run some stuff and try some different things, and so they're much improved. They'll do really well. And then Duchesne, I thought not so much. I thought they could do a lot better, and because we've been coming out here for a while. But I was a little disappointed in this showing, but it was good for us.
That third set against Tabiona, it took a little bit of extra work for you guys to come back and get the win.
Yeah, and that's good for us to be down and come back. So it shows us that we can. We've done that several times this year. We're getting volleyball is surely a game of momentum, and so it really goes up and down. So.
We definitely saw that against Union. You guys, they would have the momentum, you'd get the momentum and come back, and the first 2 sets were, all the sets were real close. The first 2, you barely lost. The third one, you came back and got the win.
Yeah, that was good for us, and same with North San Pete. We come out down at Richfield and just spanked them that first game, and then it is just a game of ebb and flow. If you don't pass, you don't have things go for you, and that's a key to every team.
Was it hard to take that loss to Union last night, or was that just a good match, a good experience against a good team?
No, I hate to lose, so yeah, it was hard. But it was okay, and the fact that I think we got to learn a lot about our team, what our weaknesses were. They really revealed our weak spots, so that was good for us to learn.
It seemed like you were having a hard time with their blockers. Was that one of the weak spots, and what others did you see?
Yeah, that's the strongest block we've seen all year, even the team at Richfield. Rich Enterprise had that one real good blocker, but the other teams don't have such a good block. They were tall, and I thought Cammie had a harder time getting one down on them. And then they tipped the middle blocker and the setter. Our setter's a freshman, and they went at her hard, and so she had to step up. They really got her in the beginning, and then I thought she picked up. She knew that they were coming at her, so they just really rebuilt our weak spots. So
I noticed that there was number 3, that big tall girl would just tip it over, and later on though, Cornea was getting over there to play that.
Yep, she got there and she figured it out. And then a lot of teams tip the other side to the middle blocker. Seems like they always get a couple down on us, and then we're ready for it. And they should never get one down on us. It's a matter of watching a hitter. So
Manila today, and you're going to be wrapping up region play today. What do you expect against Manila?
I think they're down. I just visited with their coach, and she's still frustrated with them. And I think they're sitting third. They're fighting for third and fourth position. So, and at this time of year, if you're there, your morale is pretty low. So I don't know much more than that. But I just know that maybe they'll play their best game against us here. We hope so.
Is it? I mean, this is one you beat these guys at Rich pretty handily. Is it one that's maybe a little bit harder to get up for, where you know you should get a fairly easy win?
We hope not, but it is. It's been a long road trip. We got home, got to the motel at midnight last night and got up. But I try to influence the girls to never walk off the court without giving your best foot and enjoy every point, especially those seniors. You know, this is the last time they get to play Manila at Manila. So I hope they'll step up and play big today.
All right. Well, good luck today, Coach.
Thank you very much. Thank y'all for traveling and chasing us. So that's good.
Thanks again to Lady Rebel head volleyball coach Cindy Stewart for that interview. This is the pregame coaches show brought to you by Bear Lake Realty in Garden City and Gary McKee. We're about 5 minutes away from today's opening serve, and we'll be back with the starting lineups and the beginning of today's match. This is the pregame show. You're listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ 98.3 FM, and watch the game online at KADQRadio.com. Throughout our lives, there are times we may need skilled rehabilitation and nursing care or home health and hospice care. Rocky Mountain Care has been providing these services since 1990. Our skilled staff and specialized programs will meet your loved one's needs. Our staff is dedicated to a high-quality outcome for each of our patients and residents. When you or someone you love needs these professional services, think of Rocky Mountain Care. Simply the best care. www.rmcare.com.
For over 100 years, Union Telephone has been providing phone service to small communities, places the big guys simply ignored. We were helping our neighbors stay connected to the rest of the country. Times have changed and technology has evolved. Union has been there the entire way. Today, we still keep people connected in more ways and places than ever before. Union Wireless, treating you like a neighbor, not a number.
Welcome back to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball here on KADQ-FM 98.3 and online at KADQRadio.com as the Rebels today getting set to take on the Manila Lady Mustangs. We're about 5 minutes away from our beginning serve, brought to you by the station in Randolph, and starting lineups brought to you by Stacy's Repair just around the corner. And you've been listening to the pregame coaches show brought to you by Gary McKee and Bear Lake Realty in Garden City. Now the Rebels again coming in. They went 2-1 yesterday on that road swing down around to Tabiona. Rebels beat Tabiona in 3 straight and then got by Duchesne in 3 straight before facing off against Union last night. Rebels lost in that one, but where that's not a region match, it's not that big of a loss. As Coach Stewart mentioned in our interview moments ago, she hates to lose. But really, what it did for them was it exposed some of their weaknesses, brought to attention some of the weaknesses that they might have to really, or they're going to have to improve on as they get ready for that state tournament coming up October 30th and 31st. Now, the Rebels have a chance to get into some improvement today against Manila. The Manila Mustangs, last time these teams met against each other, it was at Rich High School. The Rebels won 25-17, 25-9, and 25-16, and boy, it was all Rebels in the second set with that win 25-9. The other 2 sets a bit closer, but Rebels really no trouble against the Manila Mustangs last time. That was up at Rich High School back on the 19th of September. And so the Rebels, after today, continue the season. Now, they wrap up region play today. A win today would put them at 8-0 in the region. Now, they've already wrapped up the region title, so the Rebels are the Region 17 champions once again this season, and a win today would just simply solidify that and get back on the winning track, which the Rebels will need to do because next Thursday, Rich High plays at Mountain Crest, and that'll be a tough one for Rich at Mountain Crest. That's Hiram, Utah, and we'll be up there for that match. It's Thursday night, October 24th, and we'll have pregame at 7:15. First serve is scheduled for 7:30 next Thursday night. Then the Rebels wrap up the season against North Summit, hosting North Summit next Friday night at the Rich High School. So that's what's coming up for the Rich Rebels. Of course, today, first, we got the match against the Manila Lady Mustangs, and the beginning serve brought to you by the station in Randolph, just moments away. I'm sure we'll also have the Pledge of Allegiance or the national anthem here in just a moment as well. See the Rebels if you're watching online at KADQRadio.com. They're just off to the left there. Again, we're sitting on the north side of the gym. up at the top of the bleachers, and there are the Manila Mustangs huddled up. They're on the the west side to start this match. They'll be serving west to east. That's right to left if you're watching online at kadqradio.com. And the Rebels will be on the east side of the gym here at Manila High School, serving left to right. And sounds like we're going to get things rolling here. And the Manila Mustangs, a good crowd of Rebel fans. I know a lot of them traveled down to Tabiona, Duchesne, and then stayed the night in Vernal last night, and then came up to Manila this morning. The Pledge of Allegiance there, and we're just moments away from getting this one started between the Rebels and the Lady Mustangs of Manila. And starting lineups right now brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff. The PA is doing the Rebels first. We'll do the Rebels first as well. And it's number 3, Cammie Lamborn, a senior. Junior, number 4, Reagan Lloyd. Number 10, a senior, Ellen Peart, starting for the Rebels as well. And looks like the Rebels will be receiving because Emily Hopkin is starting. Number 14, a sophomore. Number 20, Lilia Brown, also a sophomore. And a senior, number 25, Danielle Huffner. The 6 starters for the Rebels: Lamborn, Lloyd, Brown, Peart, Hopkins, and Huffner, and Whitley Weston in the libero jersey for today. Starters brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff. Your starters for today's match: Ashley Kinder, number 3, a sophomore. Number 9, Cedar Radosevich, a sophomore as well. Number 11, Cameron Burnside, also a sophomore. That's that youth that Coach Debbie Rose was talking about in our pregame interview a few moments ago. 3 sophomores, along with the senior Ashley Hollinger, number 12. Number 13, Rebecca Collett, also a senior. And then number 21, Samantha Hughes, a senior for these Manila Lady Mustangs. And those starting lineups brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff. We're just moments away here from the beginning serve, brought to you by the station in Randolph. Teams will come up to the net, give the high five under the net as the Rebels will run by. If you're watching online at kadqradio.com, you see the Rebels in black with the white numbers, white trim. And it's maybe hard to see, maybe as we zoom in a little there, you can see that blue Rebel across the chest of the Rich Lady Rebels. And as for the Manila Mustangs, they've got the black shorts, red jerseys, and black numbers with the white trim. Teams just huddling up now. Rebels looking to keep that region winning streak going. It's been quite a while since they lost to anybody in region. In fact, it was 2010 that the Rebels lost to Duchesne, and I believe that was the last time the Rebels lost to anybody in the region play. Now, the Rebels, I was mistaken. The Rebels will serve. They'll have the serve to start this match off, and it'll be Reagan Lloyd serving for the Rebels. On the rotation, we'll have Huffner, Hopkin, and Lamborn up front in the net, and Peart will be on the back row along with Lilia Brown. And we're just getting some final preparations here as we get set for the beginning serve, brought to you by the station in Randolph. And Lloyd back to on the left side if you're watching online at kadqradio.com, serving left to right, and we're underway. The pass up front, and the Mustangs will set it up for Burnside. She'll just push it over. Peart is there. Hopkin will set it up for Huffner. Huffner's hit to the backside, and the Mustangs are there. They'll bump it up high and just bump it over the net. Now Hopkin will set it up again, far side for Lamborn. The hit into the net, and the early lead, 1-0, will go to the Mustangs. Lamborn just got a bit over the top of that one and hammered it into the net, right back to the Rebel side of the floor. Back to serve now goes Ashley Kinder. Kinder from straight away, right to left. Lamborn passes up front. Peart will set for Lamborn. The push into the corner, and Kinder can't get over there. A dive by the Mustangs, but they can't get to it, and it's tied at 1 on the Winnetitle scoreboard. Rebels get the quick attack there. And now they'll send Danielle Huffner back to serve here on this left side. Huffner from the near side of the court. Again, serving left to right. That's east to west. Pass up high. Mustangs can't keep it in the air, and the Rebels will get the point, leading 2-1 on the Winnetitle scoreboard. Not a good pass, and as Radosevich tried to go over and get it, she just couldn't get the set up front to the net. Here's Huffner. And this one goes back to Radosevic. The pass into the net, and actually that was Samantha Hughes on the serve receive. And her pass goes into the net. The Rebels will get the point and lead 3-1 on the Uinetalo scoreboard. First set here, Rebels at Manila. Here's Huffner again to serve for the Rebels. Goes to that back row, and Hughes again. Hughes this time gets off a good pass. They'll set it up. Here's the hit. A nice hit on the attack by Collett. But the Rebels are there. They'll dig it. Now set it up for Lamborn, and the push right here on the near sideline is just in, right here in front of that lead official on this near sideline, and the Rebels lead 4-1 on the Uinetalo scoreboard. And there's Lamborn with a great court vision and knowing just where to put it. She places it perfectly. Huffner serve across the net, and the Mustangs will pass it up high and just bump it over. Lloyd will pass up front. Peart sets for Lamborn on the far side, and she hammers that right in front of Hughes. Hughes can't get underneath it, and the Rebels lead 5-1 on the Uinetalo scoreboard. Just starting to run away with this one a little bit as the Rebels have the lead. Mustangs took the 1-0 lead early, but it's been all Rebels since that point. Here's the pass up front. Nice pass, good set for Collett. Rebels are there, and Peart will set it up for Lamborn on the far side. Push into the hole over the top of the blockers, but in front of those back defenders, it finds the floor, and the Rebels lead 6-1 on the Uinetalo scoreboard. Rebels rolling as Huffner goes back to serve once again. Huffner from this near side, serving left to right, and it goes short serve, but it's received there and passed over the net, but 2 hits on the set. And so the Rebels will get the point there and now lead 7-1 on the Uinetalo scoreboard. Camry Burnside, not a good set there, and now Huffner goes back to serve. And again, the pass right up in the net, and Radosevic has a little trouble with it. Her bump to try and keep it in the air goes up into the net and straight back to the floor, and the Rebels lead 8-1 on the Uinetalo scoreboard. Huffner again picking on Collett there. They'll pass it around and just bump it up high over the net. Peart comes to the near side, lets it go. It's on the floor out of bounds, and the Rebels lead 9-1 on the Uinetalo scoreboard. Rebels on a 9-0 run since they were down 1-0 to start this first set. Here's Huffner, and again to Collett. Collett will pass up front. Here's the set by Radosevic, and Collett will hit it over. Lloyd is there. Rebels will set it up for Lamborn. The tip, just about got to the floor, but a dive by the Mustangs. They keep it alive. Now the Rebels set it up again for Lamborn. Blocked back to her, and a nice block by Hollinger to get it back on the Rebel side of the net. Mustangs end the run of the Rebels, and it's 9-2 on the Uinetalo scoreboard, with Hollinger going back to serve now. Right to left, she'll serve from just off to this near side. Lamborn passes. Peart will set it up for Lamborn right in the net. Not a great set. Lamborn gets off a nice tip. It's tipped back over the net, but out of bounds by Radosevic, and the Rebels get back to an 8-point lead, 10-2 on the Uinetalo scoreboard, and Andy Cornea will check in for Emily Hopkin. Cornea back to serve from the left side. And here's that floater serve, and it goes to Hughes, and it's bumped around, but they can't control it, can't keep it in the air, and the Rebels lead 11-2. Not a good pass. There's that passing Coach Cindy Stewart focuses on so much, and the Manila Mustangs having a hard time. Here's a good pass from Hughes. They get it up front. Radosevic sets it up for Collett. Collett the push, trying to find the hole, but Huffner's there. Now the Rebels set it up for Lamborn. A dive by the Mustangs to keep it in the air, but boy, Lamborn just saw that empty spot in the defense, pushed it over there, and the Mustangs couldn't keep it in the air. Rebels lead 12-2 on the Uinetalo scoreboard with Andy Cornea to serve one more time. And the serve, she's trying to go across the angle from this side to the far side and hits it into the net. Mustangs will get the point, and it's 12-3 on the Uinetalo scoreboard with Camry Burnside going back to serve for the Mustangs. Burnside to Lloyd. Lloyd passes. Cornea will set it up for Lamborn right in the middle, and her hit goes into the net. And not sure if that serve was not quite as high as Lamborn wanted, but it's 12-4 on the Uinetalo scoreboard, and Burnside will serve again for the Mustangs. Burnside, again, right to left if you're watching online at KADQradio.com. Cornea will set it up for Peart. Peart's tip is blocked right back to the floor, and it's 12-5. The Mustangs on a little bit of a run here. They've scored the last 3 points, and Burnside will go back to serve again. Burnside to Lloyd. Lloyd's pass up front, not a great one. Cornea can't get up to it, and it falls to the floor. And the Rebels now lead by just 6, 12-6 on the Uinetalo scoreboard. It's a 4-0 run for the Mustangs. They're going to look to keep this going as Burnside goes back to serve one more time. And it goes back row. Lloyd has to dive to keep it in the air. Cornea tips it up, and the Rebels get it over the net. And somehow, a great push to the back corner. Cornea or Burnside can't get back there, and the Rebels will get the point and lead 13-6 on the Uinta scoreboard. And now Cammie Lamborn will go back to serve. And we'll see how things go for Lamborn. The serve passed up high by the Mustangs. They'll set it up for Collett, and a nice hit. Collett got up high and hit it across this near side angle, and Cornea couldn't get underneath it. So a nice attack there by the Lady Mustangs. It's 13-7 on the Uinta scoreboard, and Collett will go back to serve for the Manila Mustangs. Lloyd passes up front. Cornea will set it up for Lloyd on the far side. Blocked, but on the Mustang side of the net, they try to keep it in the air, but it goes under the net, and the Rebels will get the side out, and it leads 14-7 on the Uinta scoreboard. Christina Peterson checks out. Lilia Brown in, and Brown will go back to serve. Rebels leading 14-7 in the first set on the Uinta scoreboard. There's Brown serving left to right, and just down the line, a dive by Hollinger to keep this one in the air, and they will get it over the net in 3. Now the Rebels, Huffner will set it up to Peart on the far side. Soft attack, and the Mustangs are there. They'll just have to bump it over there. They did not get a good pass. Rebels pass goes up into the net, and Cornea is, one of the Mustangs into the net, as Cornea was going up to make that set, and the Rebels lead 15-7 on the Uinta scoreboard. Brown serve to the back row, and Hollinger passes up front. They'll set it up for Collett, and the hit is long. No, that was Ashley Kinder with the hit, and she hits it way back to the back wall behind the Rebels, and it's 16-7 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels with the big lead. Here's Brown from this near side. The jump serve, and passed up front. Pretty good pass by Hughes. They'll set it up for Kinder. The tip over, and Lamborn will pass up front. Now the set for Peart. Peart, the big hit, is tipped high into the air right at the net. The Mustangs can't keep it in the air, and the Rebels lead 17-7 on the Uinta scoreboard. And we saw Peart really swinging away on that one. Got a good, powerful hit, and it paid off as the Rebels got the point. Here's Brown again, the serve to the very back row, passed up front by Burnside, and they'll just bump it over. Kinder with the bump. Now Cornea will set it up for Peart. Peart will swing away again. It's tipped at the net by the blockers, and now the Mustangs will set it up. Hollinger for this near side to Hughes. A nice hit across the court by Hughes, up high on Brown, and Brown can't control it. So the Mustangs, and that little bit of a run by the Rebels, and it's 17-8 on the Uinta scoreboard. The Rebels had scored 4 straight until the Mustangs ended that streak. Here's Kinder, the serve long, and my mistake, that's actually Radosevic who serves it long, and the Rebels lead 18-8 on the Uinta scoreboard as Ellen Peart goes back to serve. All smiles back there, something funny between her and her teammates, and a beautiful serve, pretty close to an ace. Kinder did get a hand underneath it, but not enough to keep it in the air for the Mustangs, and the Rebels lead 19-8 on the Uinta scoreboard. Mustangs with four players back to serve receive. They pass it up front, and here's the set. Kinder tips it over. Lamborn is there after the Rebel blockers tipped it. Peart sets it up back row for Lamborn, who pushes it over. Mustangs for Hughes. Hughes, the big hit, blocked by Huffner, and the Mustangs will set it back up. They'll have to bump it over. Not a great set. Now Lamborn passes up front. Peart will set a back set for Hopkin. Hopkin hits it, and Kinder is there. The Mustangs will set it up for Hughes. The hit tipped by the blockers. Lamborn dives to keep it alive. Peart will set up for Lloyd, and the Mustangs are there. Now they'll set it up back row, and it's bumped over. Now Lamborn will pass to Peart. Peart sets the middle to Huffner. Huffner's hit just in on that back corner. Ooh, that was so close. Actually, frankly, from my angle, that looked like it was out, but it was right there in front of that corner line judge, and he says in. So we'll take it, and the Rebels lead 20-8 on the Uinta scoreboard, and Peart will go back to serve again. Peart uses up front, good high pass. Now the Mustangs will set it up, and the hit is long by Kinder. So the Rebels lead 21-8 on the Uinta scoreboard. Peart serving left to right. If you're watching online at KADQradio.com, she takes something off of this serve, and it just clears the net, drops to the floor, and again, the Mustangs got a hand on it, but just shanked it off to the side, and the Rebels lead 22-8 on the Uinta title scoreboard, and we have a timeout on the floor. We'll take a quick timeout as well. The Rebels with the big lead here in set number 1. You're listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com.
Long lines and slow traffic. Gas prices on the rise? Save yourself a trip to the big city by stopping first at Cowboy Motor Company. You no longer have to get out of Dodge to find the best deals on vehicles. Cowboy Motor Company has them in stock. Expanding inventory and plenty of money available for lending, you can now get into Dodge at Cowboy Motor Company. Strength, honesty, and integrity. The Cowboy way. Cowboy Motor Company, 100 Wasatch Road in Evanston.
Welcome back to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball here on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com. The Rebels leading 22-8 on the Uinta title scoreboard, and the Rebels have used a series of small runs. They were down 1-0 and went on a 9-0 run to gain the initial lead, and they've kind of cruised from there. Little runs of 4-0 or 3-0, and now Peart back to serve once again for the Rebels, and serves it into the net. So that'll make it 22-9 on the Uinta title scoreboard. Rebels were on a 5-0 run right there, and that comes to an end. The serve received by Lamborn. Pass up front right in the net. Peart just tips it right up and over, but she's into the net, and the call is an illegal attack from the back row by Peart. So the point will go to the Mustangs, and they'll get the serve once again. Now Lamborn will set it up or pass it up front. The set for Reagan Lloyd. It's hit hard. Mustangs keep it alive, but they can't get to it. They went clear here to this near side stands and got it back into play, but they couldn't keep it in the air, and it's 23-10. Rebels knocking on the door of a first set victory. As Reagan Lloyd goes back to serve. Lloyd's serve received by Burnside. Burnside sets it up now, and the Mustangs hit comes out of bounds on this near side. It's out wide, and the Rebels lead 24-10. It's set point in set number 1 for the Rebels, leading 24-10 on the Uinta title scoreboard. Lloyd serves, goes back row, passed up high by Hollinger. Now the Mustangs will set it up front for Burnside. Rebels are there. They'll set it now. Huffner just has to bump it over on that third hit. And the Mustangs are there. They'll set it up. Hollinger for Burnside. Burnside the push. Peart's there on the down the line. Hopkin will set it up far side for Lamborn, and she just tips it. That little push into the hole of the defense, and the Rebels win set 1, 25-10 on the Uinta title scoreboard. Rebels get the victory in set number 1. Set 2 coming up. Again, Rebels win 25-10 on the Uinta title scoreboard in set 1. And set 2 coming up. You're listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and watch online at KADQradio.com.
It's time for the pre-winter checkup special.
Big O Tires, we go the extra mile, revving up the service to make you smile. We're in the business of customer pleasing, all the right service for all the right reasons.
Receive an oil change, 22-point inspection, brake check, and tire rotation for just $59.99.
Extra miles, the way we go, we got you covered at Big O.
Big O Tires in Evanston, 607 Cheyenne Drive.
Find out how stack up against all of the other major brand name trucks in their class. Confirm what you know or surprise yourself. Just log on to CastleRockChevy.com. Right now you can drive any new Chevy truck off the lot for just 1% over factory invoice OAC, and ask about other rebates and offers that apply.
We're Castle Rock.
Like us on Facebook, Castle Rock Chevy in Evanston, CastleRockChevy.com.
Welcome back to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball here on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com. If you're watching online, you see the Hotshot cam up right now. Brought to you by Perry Brothers Trucking and Ellingford Brothers Incorporated. And I'm not sure what the monkey has to do with Mustangs and Rebels, but that's what we have right now if you're watching online at KADQradio.com. A pretty good little contingent of Rebel fans. I know a lot of them traveled down with the Rebels yesterday to Taviona and then over to Duchesne, and then maybe stayed the night and came up to Manila. A big circle around the Uintas as we get set for set number 2. Rebels won the first set 25-10 and will receive to start this second set. Going back to serve is Samantha Hughes for the Lady Mustangs. And our beginning serve here in set number 2, brought to you by the station in Randolph. Just moments away, the Rebels with Peart, Hopkins, Huffner, Lloyd, Lamborn, and Brown on the floor. And just awaiting one of the officials over there at the scores table, having a quick discussion with the scorekeeper. Set number 1, the Rebels won 25-10 on the Uinta scoreboard, and this is just about what we expected, frankly, out of the Rebels in that first set. Looks like the officials are verifying the Rebel rotation and where they should be lined up. And now they'll verify the Manila Mustang rotation. Looks like they're getting things squared away, figured out, and just about ready to go. And the Rebels will receive here in set 2. They won the first set 25-10, and this beginning serve brought to you by the station in Randolph. Rebels receive, passed Ray up into the net. Nice play by Peart to keep it alive. Lamborn tips it over. Now the Mustangs will bump it back to the Rebels. Lloyd bumps it high, and Peart will set it up for Lamborn. The tip down the line, on the line, here on this near side, and the Rebels lead 1-0 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels scrambling a little bit there, but boy, they able to come up with a nice attack. Peterson checks in for the Rebels up onto the front row, along with Hopkin and Lamborn, as Huffner back to serve. Passed up high by Hughes, and coming over, another bump by Collett, and the Mustangs will just have to bump it over. Rebels set it up for Lamborn on this near side, hammered right into Cedar Radosevic, and she just got a facial, is what it looked like to me. She comes away a little bit of a grin on her face. I guarantee I would not be grinning after a hit like that. And the Rebels get the point, leading 2-0 on the Uinta scoreboard. Here's Huffner, and the serve receive shanked back to the east wall by Ashley Hollinger, and the Rebels lead 3-0 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels serving right to left. That's west to east if here at Manila High School. And there's Huffner's serve. Again, not a good serve receive out toward the stands, and the Rebels now lead 4-0 on the Uinta scoreboard. Manila Mustangs scored first in the first set, but then the Rebels went on a 9-0 run to take a 9-1 lead and cruise from there. Rebels right now rolling, leading 4-0 in the second set. Pass by Burnside goes over the net. Hopkin will set it up for Lamborn. Lamborn, the push into the hole, and the Mustangs scrambling, and they get it over. Great effort by the Manila Mustangs. Now Hopkin tries to tip it over, and it's blocked right back by Kinder. And the Mustangs on the scoreboard in set 2, trailing 4-1. Rebels with the lead on the Uinta scoreboard, and Kinder will go back to serve for the Lady Mustangs. Kinder from straight away left to right. Lamborn passes up front. Peart will set it up for Lamborn here on this near side. She hammers it. Nice job by Kinder to keep that in the air. Good dig. And the Mustangs get it over. A dive by Lloyd in the corner, and she shanks it into the stands. Mustangs 2 straight points, and it's 4-2 on the Uinta scoreboard. Kinder will go back to serve again. Kinder dribbles a couple of times and now serves it. Long on the line. Lloyd thought it was going to be out. I thought it was too, but boy, Kinder found that back line, and it's 4-3 on the Uinta scoreboard. 3 straight points for the Mustangs, and Kinder back again to serve. This one is long, and Lloyd will let it go again. It's out of bounds, and the Rebels get the side out, leading 5-3 on the Uinta scoreboard. And Andy Cornea will check in for Emily Hopkin. Cornea back to serve for the Rebels. If you're watching online at KADQradio.com, see the Manila colors red and white, and Cornea serving right to left. Kinder, the serve receive, goes way up high, and they'll just have to hit it over. And the Rebels will set it up. Cornea for Lamborn, a short set. Lamborn pushes it toward the backside, and Radosevic, trying to keep that in the air, bumps it back to the back wall, the east wall, and the Rebels lead 6-3 on the Uinta scoreboard. Cornea, serve long to the back row. Hughes passes up front. They'll set it up, and now Kinder will just bump it over. Lamborn, pass, and now Cornea sets it up for Peart, blocked, and the Rebels keep it alive, though. Cornea will set it up again for Peart. Peart's hit down the line, a perfect placement. Boy, right down the line and on the corner, and the Rebels lead 7-3 on the Uinta scoreboard. Cornea, back to serve again for the Rebels on a 3-0 run. And Kinder keeps it alive right back at the net. Lamborn tips it right back down, and the Mustangs have trouble keeping The hands underneath it, they tip it out of bounds, and the Rebels lead 8-3 on the Uinetalo scoreboard with Cornea back to serve again. Rebels on a 5-0 run. Her serve punched up high by Radosevic, and now they get the set and the big hit by Collett, but it is big and long and out of bounds, and the Rebels take the point and lead 9-3 on the Uinetalo scoreboard. Here's Cornea again, and the serve receive shanked by Radosevic out toward these near side stands. Rebel lead is now 10-3 on the Uinetalo scoreboard, and the Mustangs having trouble on that serve receive with Cornea's floater serve, and there it is again. Hughes can't receive it well, shanked into the stands, and it's 11-3 Rebels on the Uinetalo scoreboard. A timeout on the floor. Coach Debbie Rose wants to talk about it quickly. Rebels leading 11-3 in set number 2 on the Uinetalo scoreboard, and you're listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQRadio.com.
Precious time cannot be recovered once lost, said the famous Jack Sparrow. Don't lose time driving extra miles when the dental services you need are available right here in Evanston. Do you need a root canal? Do you need your wisdom teeth pulled? Are you missing teeth or want a full and perfect smile? Do you need braces? All of these services are available from our specialists right here in Evanston. This is endodontist Les Walker inviting you to join me and my associates. Call today to schedule an appointment at 307-789-5608. That's 307-789-5608. Save your precious time.
Welcome back to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQRadio.com. Rebels leading 11-3 in the second set on the Uinetalo scoreboard. Rebels took the first set 25-10. Here's Cornea, the serve long. And that'll end the run there. The Rebels, it was 4-3. They were up by just one. That was a 7-0 run. And the Rebels lead is now 11-4. Back to serve goes Collett. Pass up front. Cornea sets it up for Peart. Hit down the line, and she hammers that one down. The kill for Ellen Peart, and it's 12-4 on the Uinetalo scoreboard as Cammie Lamborn will go back to serve for the Lady Rebels. Lamborn from the far side, serving right to left, and boy, she serves it down low in front of those backside serve receivers, and they shank it into the stands. It's 13-4. Rebels with the big lead on the Uinetalo scoreboard. Lamborn again will serve, this time into the net, and served it a little bit on an angle, and it didn't have the height to clear that net. So it's 13-5 on the Uinetalo scoreboard, and Camry Burnside will go back to serve for the Mustangs. Burnside left to right. Peterson passes up high. Nice play to keep that in the air, and Lamborn will just push it over on that third hit. Now the Mustangs will set it up, and here's the bump by Collett. Not a lot of power, and Rebels are there. They'll set it up for Peart here on this near side, blocked by the Manila blockers, but out of bounds. Radosevic was there along with Collett, and it's blocked out of bounds. Rebels get the point and lead 14-5 on the Uinetalo scoreboard as Lilia Brown comes in to serve now for the Lady Rebels. Brown, the jump serve, standing jump serve, and it's passed up front. Now they'll set it up for Collett. Collett, the big hit. Rebels tip it. Now Lamborn tips it, just hits it to keep it in the air, and it goes over the net. Mustangs will set it up again. Collett, the nice tip over the blockers. Lamborn pushes it over now, back the other way for the Rebels. It's right on the net. Teams go back and forth. It's to the Mustangs, and they'll set it up once again. Here's the back set for Radosevic. The hit is long, out of bounds. She tried to hit it on the angle from this near side to that far side. Hit it right in front of the Rebel bench, and it's out of bounds. And the Rebel lead is now 15-5 on the Uinetalo scoreboard. Brown, good strong serve for the Rebels. The pass is on the back row, and the Manila Mustangs just bump it over. Now Cornea sets it up for Peart on the near side. Hammered, but into the net, and Manila will get the point. Rebels lead is now 15-6 on the Uinetalo scoreboard. And back to serve will go Rebecca Collett, one of the three seniors on this Manila Mustang team. Collett, back row to Lamborn. Lamborn passes up front. Cornea sets it up for Lloyd. Lloyd the hit, and it's tipped by the Manila blockers. Finds the floor, and the Rebels get the point. 16-6 is the lead on the Uinetalo scoreboard. And Ellen Peart will go back to serve. She was serving when the Rebels went on a 5-0 run late in the first set. And now she serves. Her first one is long. So the Mustangs Now down 16-7 on the Uinta scoreboard as Cedar Radosevic will go back. Serve it away from straight away back there on the left side. Lloyd pass across to Peart. Peart sets it up for Lamborn on the back row. The hit is long, just barely, but it's long on that far side in the corner. And the Rebels now lead just 16-8 on the Uinta scoreboard in set number 2. Here's the serve. Lloyd passes up high to Peart. Peart sets it up for Huffner at the net. Set is a bit low, and Huffner just has to bump it over. Now the hit, the tip by Hollinger on that far sideline, and it's in on the line. So the Mustangs get the point there. Beautiful placement by Hollinger, and it's 16-9 on the Uinta scoreboard. Here's the serve one more time by Radosevic. Lamborn passes to Peart. Peart sets it up for Huffner right in front of her, and the dig is shanked out to the scores table. So the Rebels and the little run by the Mustangs there was a 3-0 run. Mustangs will get the serve back, leading 17-9 on the Uinta scoreboard. Lloyd's serve to the back, and it's set up front, set right into the net. Nice little tip. Rebels are there. Peart pushes it up high. Now they'll set it up for Lamborn. The push into the corner, a dive. What an effort by Burnside, but she couldn't keep it in the court, and the Rebel lead is now 18-9 on the Uinta scoreboard, and Lloyd will go back to serve again for the Rebels. Lloyd, high, long serve. It's passed up high by Collett, and the Mustangs will just have to bump it over. Rebels will let it go. The bump is long. Lloyd was there to play it, but she knew good court awareness by Lloyd, and she lets it go. It's out of bounds, and the Rebels lead 19-9 on the Uinta scoreboard. Substitution now, and Kayla Kunkel will check in. Here's the serve, passed up front by Collett. Kunkel trying to bump it up and set it up for a teammate that does not get it in the air very high, and it drops to the floor. And the Rebels get the point, leading 20-9 on the Uinta scoreboard. Here's Lloyd, and the serve, on that back line. I thought it was out, but the line judge is right there in front of it, and she calls it in. 21-9, Rebels with the lead on the Uinta scoreboard. They took the first set, 25-10, and a big lead here in set 2. Pass on the serve received, not a good pass. Rebecca Collett over to the scores table with the pass, and the Rebels lead 22-9 on the Uinta scoreboard. And Lloyd back again to serve for Rich High. Trying to pick on that back row. This time Hughes gets back there to try and serve receive, and she shanks it into the stand. So it's 23-9 on the Uinta scoreboard, and these Mustangs just having trouble everywhere on their serve receive. They're passing. Here's Lloyd again to the back row, passed way up to the ceiling, and the Mustangs this time able to set up the attack. A good hit, but the Rebels are there. Peart will set it up near side for Lamborn. She hammers it down. The pass goes back over the net. Huffner misplays it, though. She went out there to do kind of a set, and almost like it went off only one of her hands to the floor. And the point, I missed the call there. They gave the point to the Rebels. Must have been a call against the Mustangs, and the Rebels lead 24-9. Mustangs must have been in the net or something along those lines. A set point for the Rebels as the Mustangs set it up for Hughes. Blocked back by Huffner, and the Rebels win set 2, 25-9 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels lead this match 2-0. They took the first set 25-10, took the second set 25-9 on the Uinta scoreboard, and they lead 2-0 as we head for set number 3. And we'll be back with it on the Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ-FM 98.3 and watch it online at KADQradio.com.
Throughout our lives, there are times we may need skilled rehabilitation and nursing care or home health and hospice care. Rocky Mountain Care has been providing these services since 1990. Our skilled staff and specialized programs will meet your loved one's needs. Our staff is dedicated to a high-quality outcome for each of our patients and residents. When you or someone you love needs these professional services, think of Rocky Mountain Care. Simply the best care. www.rmcare.com.
For over 100 years, Union Telephone has been providing phone service to small communities, places the big guys simply ignored. We were helping our neighbors stay connected to the rest of the country. Times have changed and technology has evolved. Union has been there the entire way. Today, we still keep people connected in more ways and places than ever before. Union Wireless, treating you like a neighbor, not a number.
Welcome back to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQRadio.com. The Rebels with a 2-0 lead. They took the first set 25-10 and took the second set 25-9 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels went on a 9-0 run to close out that second set. It was fairly close after the Mustangs went on a 3-0 run and made it 16-9. But from that point, it was all Rebels. Reagan Lloyd went back to serve, and the Mustangs just really struggling with their serve receive. And that's something that Coach Cindy Stewart focuses on. And if you heard our pregame interview with Coach Debbie Rose, that's something that she said that she focuses on quite a bit in practicing is that serve receive. But the Mustangs having a hard time. And the Rebels a good serving team. They've got some good, strong servers, and they've been able to take advantage of that trouble for the Mustangs on the serve receive. Rebels a little bit of a change in the lineup here. Ashley Grohl in the game, in the match. She'll go back, it looks like, to serve to start this third set. We've also got Lilia Brown and Lamborn. What's her first name? It's Cammie's little sister. I've got that here. I will find it. I should know that. It is Melanie Lamborn. That's it. We've also got Christina Peterson, Andy Cornea, and Reagan Lloyd in the game. And Whitley Weston on the sideline. I believe she's going to check in as the libero here right as we're about to get started. The beginning serve of this third set is brought to you by the station in Randolph. And we're just moments away from this third set. Again, the Rebels, big wins in the first two sets, 25-10 and 25-9 on the Uinta scoreboard. And Weston will check in. Melanie Lamborn will head for the sideline. And back to serve goes Ashley Grohl to start this one off. Good strong serve, and again, the serve received troubles. The Mustangs do keep it in the air. A high bump off the ceiling. A fourth hit is what it would have taken to get it over the net. That's not going to work for the Mustangs, and the Rebels lead 1-0 on the Uinta scoreboard. Ashley Grohl, a freshman, serving left to right. The serve long toward this near sideline, and we're tied at 1 on the Uinta scoreboard here in set 3. Rebels won the first two sets, 25-10, 25-9. And now back to serve goes Ashley Kinder. Rebel JV team won in 3 straight earlier today. Kinder, good serve. Brown's pass goes back over the net. Mustangs pass goes back over the net. Brown dives and it goes over the net. Now the Mustangs will set it up. And a big hit by Burnside into the net. 4 hits to get it back over. And the Rebels lead 2-1 on the Uinta scoreboard. Boy, that was back and forth real quick. Lamborn checks back in as Melanie Lamborn in for Whitley Weston as Christina Peterson goes back to serve. Pass up high. Good pass this time for the Mustangs. They'll set it up for Collett. Big hit. The Rebels are there, though. Nice dig by Grohl for the Rebels, and they'll bump it over. Mustangs will try to set it up one more time. They set it up again for Collett on this near side and almost finds the hole, but the Rebels diving. Lloyd and Lamborn both go to the floor. Oh, but they're going to say that they're on that third hit, the Rebels got 2 hits where they when they bumped it over, and that'll tie us up at 2 on the Uinta scoreboard. Back to serve for the Mustangs goes Hughes, and the Rebels will set it up. Here's the hit by Lloyd. Nice hit. It goes right at, I believe that was right at Radosevic, or Hollinger rather, and she couldn't get underneath it. So the Rebels lead 3-2 on the Uinta scoreboard, and Andy Cornea will go back to serve. Cornea left to right on KADQRadio.com. The pass goes back over the net. Melanie Lamborn goes up and just hits it down. Just knocks it down to the floor, and the Rebels lead 4-2 on the Uinta scoreboard. Cornea with that floater serve, and the Mustangs are having a hard time with it. If you're familiar with the floater serve, it's almost like a knuckleball in baseball. And again, the pass right at the net. Nice tip by Burnside, and the Mustangs keep it alive. Lamborn's tip is blocked right back. The Rebels will set it up. Now Lloyd pushes it over. Mustangs are there, and they'll set it up near side here for Collett. Big hit blocked by the Rebels, but to the floor. And the Mustangs get the point, leading 4-3. And that's what the Mustangs can do. Boy, if they get that good serve receive and a good pass, Burnside and Collett, pretty good hitters if they can get the opportunity on a good set. Here's the serve, and Grohl will pass it up high. Cornea sets it up back row for Grohl. Grohl hits it over, and the Mustangs are there. They'll set it up high here for Collett. Collett the hit. Weston passes it up high, and the Rebels will set it up for Lloyd, and it's blocked right back by Collett. And we're tied at 4 on the Uinta. Burnside to serve, right to left for the Manila Lady Mustangs. And her serve goes to Grohl. Pass up front. Cornea will set it up for Lloyd. It's blocked. Nope, it hit the net. Came back. Rebels hit it a fourth time, and the Mustangs take the lead 5-4 on the Winnitalo scoreboard as Burnside will go back to serve again. Serving west to east, and if you're watching online at KADQradio.com, that's right to left. Here's the serve. Weston will pass it up high. Cornea will set for Grohl on the back roll. The push doesn't clear the net, just barely short. And the Mustangs now lead 6-4 on the Winnitalo scoreboard. Rebels with mainly a JV team in there, except for Reagan Lloyd. And we do see Emily Hopkin and Andy Cornea on the varsity floor quite a bit. Here's the pass. Cornea keeps it in the air, and nobody's going to get over there by the Rebel bench. And the Mustangs now lead 7-4 on the Winnitalo scoreboard. As Burnside will go back to serve again. And we see what a difference the three main varsity stars, I would say, in Lamborn, Peart, and Huffner make on the floor as the Mustangs have the lead. Rebels scrambling. They do get it back over the net, and the Mustangs will bump it up high, and then they'll just push it over. Cornea will set up front, and the set for Lloyd. Lloyd the push, blocked, and the Mustangs will get another point and lead 8-4 on the Winnitalo scoreboard. And now Coach Stewart is going to take a timeout with the Rebels trailing 8-4 here in this third set. Rebels took the first two sets and put in some JV players for the second set, and they're struggling a bit. Down 8-4 on the Winnitalo scoreboard. You're listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at KADQradio.com.
Long lines and slow traffic. Gas prices on the rise? Save yourself a trip to the big city by stopping first at Cowboy Motor Company. You no longer have to get out of Dodge to find the best deals on vehicles. Cowboy Motor Company has them in stock. Expanding inventory and plenty of money available for lending, you can now get into Dodge at Cowboy Motor Company. Strength, honesty, and integrity. The Cowboy way. Cowboy Motor Company, 100 Wasatch Road in Evanston.
Here's the serve. Lloyd passes up to Cornea. Cornea will set it up for Lloyd. The hit into the net. Cornea's there, though, and the Rebels actually was blocked, and the Rebels keep it alive. Reagan Lloyd pushes it over, and now Collett will set it up near side for Hughes. Big hit. Grohl digs it, and the Rebels keep it alive. They'll set it up for Reagan Lloyd. Lloyd's hit, and on the line, she finds the angle. It was a real high arching hit, but it was in the hole of the defense. Hit on the line on this near sideline, and the Rebels end that run by the Mustangs. It was a 6-0 run, and now the Rebels will send Reagan Lloyd back to serve, and her first serve is way long. So that will give the point to the Mustangs, now leading again by 4, 9-5 on the Winnitalo scoreboard. As Collett goes back to serve, and her serve is quite long. Weston plays it, though. Cornea keeps it in the air, and now Lamborn will push it over. That's Melanie, as the Mustangs will set it back up. Collett hits, blocked by Hopkin, and Lamborn were right there. Blocked back to the Manila side of the floor, and the Rebels down by 3, 9-6 on the Winnitalo scoreboard. Here in set number 3, Rebels won the first two sets easily, 25-10 and 25-9. And now Melanie Lamborn back to serve, and she serves long. And so the Rebels down by 4 again, 10-6 on the Winnitalo scoreboard. And here's the serve by Radosevic. Rebels keep it high in the air. Cornea bumps it back, and now Lloyd will just push it over from the back row. Mustangs will set it up for Hughes. Hughes, the big hit across court, and it's out of bounds. Was not tipped by the Rebels, so Rich will get the point there and trails 10-7 on the Winnitalo scoreboard as Emily Hopkin will go back to serve for the Lady Rebels. Hopkins serve a good one. The pass not good, and the Mustangs will just bump it over. Here's Reagan Lloyd set up front for Peterson. Peterson's hit a bit long. And the lead now is 11-7 on the Winnitalo scoreboard for the Manila Mustangs as Samantha Hughes, the senior, goes back to serve for Manila. Serving right to left, and she'll go back row. Grohl passes up front, but it's right in the net. Cornea keeps it in the air. A fourth hit. Oh, they're going to say that Burnside blocked it. The Rebels bump it over, and it finds the floor. Boy, I thought that was going to be a fourth, fifth hit for the Rebels, but it must have been tipped by Burnside, and the Rebels keep it alive. And now trail 11-8 on the Winnitalo scoreboard with Ashley Grohl back to serve for the Lady Rebels. That second official over there to verify with the scores table that they've got it right. It is 11-8, and Grohl's serve is long. And I believe for the Rebels, that's the third or fourth serve that they've served long. Having a little trouble serving a bit long here in this third set against the Mustangs. It's 12-8, Rebels trail. Here's Collett. Rebels will pass up front. Cornea sets it up for Lloyd. Lloyd's hit blocked, but the Mustangs keep it in the air. Nice heads-up play. And now Collett comes over, tips it to this near sideline. Brown dives, but she can't get underneath it. And it's 13-8 Lady Mustangs on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels leading 2-0 in the match. They won the first two sets easily, and they've got 3 or 4 JV players in for this third set. Brown passes up front. Cornea will set it for Lloyd. Lloyd to hit across court. Collett passes it way up high. Now the bump by Ashley Hollinger, or the set, and the hit. Rebels will keep it alive. Reagan Lloyd will get the hit. Passed by with one hand by Kinder, or by Radosevic. A nice job just to keep it in the air. It goes way up high, finds the floor after it hit off the ceiling. And the Rebels now down by 4, 13-9 on the Uinta scoreboard. Peterson back to serve for Rich. Here's Peterson. Good serve. Passed up high toward the sideline, that far sideline. And the Mustangs will just push it over. Dive by Weston to keep it in the air. Now Grohl will bump it or hit it from the back row. It's a high hit, and the Mustangs will set it up for Collett. Collett the push. Grohl is there. Cornea now will set it up across court for Reagan Lloyd. Lloyd the hit toward the back corner, and the good defense Hughes is there. They'll set it up for Collett. Collett the hit down the line. It's in on that back corner. Nice hit by Collett. She found the spot where the Rebels weren't. And it's 14-9 on the Uinta scoreboard, and it looks like the Rebels might, Coach Stewart over talking with one of the officials. It's going to be Manila Mustangs serving with Ashley Hollinger. And not sure what Coach is talking about with that official. But it's a bit of a lengthy discussion. Rebels trailing 14-9 on the Uinta scoreboard in this third set. Rich won the first set 25-10, and the second set 25-9. Should have turned up this other microphone. We're not going to pick that up. We're picking up some other fans right here in front of us as Coach Stewart continues to speak with that far side official, the down official. And Rebels having a little bit of trouble here in this third set. They've got Cornea, Lloyd, and Hopkin in the game. Cornea and Lloyd staying in there for the most part. We see them on the varsity floor most of the time. But the rest of the players out there right now are primarily JV players. Of course, Lilia Brown comes out in the varsity games quite a bit. But we've got Cornea along with Lamborn, Lloyd, Grohl, Brown, and Weston. Here's the serve. Weston passes up high. Cornea comes over to set for Lloyd. Lloyd the hit to the back row. Hughes will pass it up high, and they'll set it up for Collett here on this near side. Here's the hit. Weston is there. Nice dig. Cornea will set it up for Lloyd again, and the hit tipped up high, and the Mustangs will push it over. Weston, again, a good pass. Cornea sets it up for Lloyd. Lloyd, the hit tipped at the line. They keep it alive. A great play by Collett to get her hand underneath there. The Rebels now scrambling a bit, but they will bump it over. Nice bump by Weston. Now the Mustangs will set it up for Collett. The push toward the corner. Brown bumps it high into the air. Cornea sets it high for Lloyd. Lloyd will bump it over, and this is quite the rally here. Mustangs will set it up, and here's the hit. It's going to be long by Radosevic, and the Rebels will get the point, trailing 14-10 on the Uinta scoreboard. And Hopkin will check in now for the Rebels. As on the front line, we'll have Hopkin, Melanie Lamborn, and Reagan Lloyd. Mustangs will set it up after a good pass for Collett here, and the hit to Weston. Weston, nice dig. Rebels will set it up for Lloyd. Lloyd the hit, and the Mustangs are there. Good pass by Kinder. Now the set for Collett. Boy, she got up high, and she just slammed that one down. The defense, the blockers were toward the middle of the net, and she just tipped it down to the right here on the line, and the Mustangs lead 15-10 on the Uinta scoreboard. Back to serve goes Kinder, and her serve goes into the net, or Burnside rather, serves it into the net. Rebels now trail 15-11 on the Uinta scoreboard, and Reagan Lloyd back to serve from straight away, left to right. Lloyd served to the back row, passed up front. or for Call It the push. Good strong push, but the Rebels are there. Now Grohl will push it over, and the Mustangs will set it up. Here's Hollinger now to Call It. Now the Rebels are there and in the air. Grohl will push it toward the corner. Hollinger keeps it in the air. Now Call It will bump, and then Hollinger will push toward the corner. Corny, a nice push to keep it up high. Hopkins sets for Grohl. Grohl pushed down, finds the floor right there in front of the Mustang bench. A dive by Hollinger to try and keep it in the air, but Rebels will get the point and trail by just 3, 15-12 on the Unitado scoreboard. The JV matches, Grohl is a pretty big hitter for the Rebels. We'll see if they can set it up for her here. As Lloyd serves it, the Hughes will bump it high, and the Mustangs will get it over the net. Now Cornea will set it up for Lamborn. Lamborn's hit is blocked, and Hopkins can't keep it in the air. Falls to the floor on the Rebel side, and it's 16-12 Mustangs with the lead on the Unitado scoreboard. Back to serve goes Rebecca Collett, senior. And she serves to Grohl on the back row. Pass up front. Cornea will set it up for Grohl. Here's the hit by Grohl to the back row, and Burnside is there. Now they'll set it up for Hughes. Hughes, the good hit. Lloyd digs it. They'll set it up again for Grohl. It's hit hard, but the Mustangs keep it in the air. Nice dig. Now the tip, and it's blocked by the Rebels, but blocked on the Rebels' side. It finds the floor, and the Rebels trail 17-12 on the Unitado scoreboard. And Coach Stewart giving her players a little bit of coaching from that bench. Here's Call It again with the serve, and we have a Rebel out of rotation, or an early movement by the Rebels. So the point will go to the Mustangs, and they lead 18-12. Rebels were out of alignment there, and Call It will serve one more time. Here's the serve to Weston. Weston pass up high. Cornea will set it up here, this near side right in the middle for Lamborn. Melanie pushes it over. Now the Mustangs will set it up for Hughes. Hughes blocked, and they'll keep it alive. Nice job to keep it in the air. Now the tip. Weston comes up and keeps it in the air. Cornea sets it up way outside for Grohl. She'll just have to bump it over to keep it inbounds. Now the Mustangs will set it. Has the hit blocked by the Rebel blockers. Hopkins will set it up for Grohl. Grohl the hit to the back. It's passed way up high, bumped up right at the net. Hopkins goes up and hammers it down, but the Mustangs are there. They'll set it up. Here's Kinder. The hit is and out of bounds, and the Rebels get the point on that long volley. It's 18-13. Rebels trail in set number 3. Rebels took the first 2 sets, 25-10, 25-9 on the Unitado scoreboard, and they've brought in some JV players to play much of this varsity match against the Mustangs. Rebels trail 18-13. Pass by Burnside, not a great pass, and the Mustangs will just bump it, barely get it over. But Cornea comes over, not a great pass, and the Rebels will have to just bump it over by Weston. And now the Mustangs set it up, blocked by the Rebels. They keep it alive, and 2 diving Rebels can't quite get to it. Mustangs will get the point and lead 19-13 on the Unitado scoreboard in set number 3. Rebels won the first 2 sets easily, with almost like a JV team out there for the Rebels here in the third set. They trail by 6. Here's the serve, and a dive by Weston to keep that in the air. Nice pass. Now Grohl just tips it over down the line, and the Rebels will get the point, and it's 19-14 on the Unitado scoreboard. Grohl, some good court vision. We see that out of Cammie Lamborn. We see that out of Ashley Grohl coming in this varsity match. Now the serve by Hopkins is long and out of bounds, and the point will go to the Mustangs, who now lead 20-14 on the Unitado scoreboard. And Samantha Hughes will go back to serve. Serve the senior Hughes the senior bounces it a few times. Grohl serve receive, passes up high. Cornea sets it up for Grohl. Big hit toward the corner, and Hughes shanks it back toward the west wall. Nice hit by Grohl, and the Rebels now down by 5, 20-15 on the Unitado scoreboard. Here in set 3, Rebels won the first 2 sets, 25-10 and 25-9. Grohl back to serve. From left to right, this serve on the back line, just out. Was it tipped? No, the Mustangs pulled away at the last second. And Coach Stewart is going to take a quick timeout here. We'll take a quick one as well. Rebels won the first 2 sets, 25-10, 25-9, but they're down 22-15 here in the third set. with mostly a JV team out there for the Rebels. You're listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3, and online you can watch it at KADQradio.com.
It's time for the pre-winter checkup special.
Big O Tires, we go the extra mile, revving up the service to make you smile. We're in the business of customer pleasing, all the right service for all the right reasons.
Receive an oil change, 22-point inspection, brake check, and tire rotation for just $59.99.
Extra miles, the way we go, we got you covered at Big O.
Big O Tires in Evanston, 607 Cheyenne Drive.
Welcome back to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Lady Rebel Volleyball. The serve passed up high by Brown. Cornea will set it up near side for Peterson. Tipped at the net, and Kinder will pass it up high. The Mustangs will set it up. Here's Collett. Nice strong push, but Grohl is there. Cornea sets it up again for Peterson. Hit toward the corner, just a bit long. And it's 23-15. Mustangs knocking on the door of a set 3 victory. Rebels with kind of a hybrid varsity JV team on the floor for this third set, and they trail by 8. Brown passes up front. Cornea will set it up for Lloyd. Lloyd, the big hit. She hammered that one down, and boy, that's maybe the best hit we've seen all year by Lloyd. She just slammed it to the floor, and the Rebels down at 23-16 on the Uinta scoreboard. Peterson will come to serve for Rich High, serving left to right and to the back row, passed up front. Just a quick dump set by Hollinger. Rebels now set it up for Lloyd again, and she hammers it down right in front of Hughes. And the Rebels with 2 straight points, now down 23-17 on the Uinta scoreboard. And Lloyd finding a nice stroke there as Peterson will go back to serve again. Here's Peterson to the back row. Kinder keeps it in the air up high, and now the Mustangs will just bump it over. Lamborn will pass. Peart will set it up, or Cornea sets it up for Lamborn, who slaps it over. Manila Mustangs will set it up. Collett blocked by Cornea and Melanie Lamborn, and the Rebels get the point. It's blocked back right down to the floor of the Mustangs, and it's 23-18. Rebels keeping themselves alive in this third set. Peterson back again to serve. Peterson to the back row, passed up high by Radosevic, and the Mustangs get it to Collett. Collett pushes it over. Now Cornea will set it up for Lloyd. Lloyd's hit toward the corner, misplayed, but the Mustangs keep it in the air, out of bounds. 2 hits were from out of bounds. The third one does not go over the net, and the Rebels now down by just 4, 23-19 on the Uinta scoreboard. Here's Peterson. Peterson received by Radosevic, and the Mustangs just bump it over. Cornea will set it up for Lloyd. Lloyd coming in from the far side, and this time she just tips it past the blockers to the floor. It's right about at that 10-foot line on the Manila side of the net, and the Rebels down by 3, 23-20 on the Uinta scoreboard. Rebels coming back into this one here in the third set. Here's Peterson. Pass across court by Radosevic. Now the Mustangs get a good hit. Rebels push it back over, and the Mustangs, here's a set for Collett on the near side. Big hit blocked by the Rebels. They keep it in the air. Brown from her knees keeps it in the air, and Grohl bumps it over. Now the tip, and a beautiful play by by Hollinger, but it's out of bounds, and the Rebels get the point, trailing 23-21 on the Uinta scoreboard. Hollinger went up high and just tipped it down, and it was just a bit long on this side, a bit wide, I should say. Here's Peterson. Back row, Hollinger a hard time with that one, and they'll pass it up high, now just bump it over. Peterson will pass it up front to Cornea. Cornea set it upside that side for Lloyd. Hit, blocked, but on the Manila side of the net, it goes between the blockers and the net, and the Rebels are down by 1, 23-22 on the Uinta scoreboard, and the Rebels are fired up. They were down 23-15. They've gone on a 7-0 run, and they have the serve. When we come back in just a bit on a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and watch it online at KADQradio.com.
Find out how Chevy trucks stack up against all of the other major brand name trucks in their class. Confirm what you know or surprise yourself. Just log on to CastleRockChevy.com. Right now you can drive any new Chevy truck off the lot for just 1% over factory invoice OAC, and ask about other rebates and offers that apply.
We're Castle Rock.
Like us on Facebook, Castle Rock Chevy in Evanston, CastleRockChevy.com.
Rebels a 7-0 run, and they're right back in this one, trailing 23-22. The serve by Peterson, passed up front. They'll set it for Collett. Collett, the tip down the line. Brown dives to keep it in the air. Cornea sets it up for Lloyd. Lloyd, the hit, blocked by the Manila Mustangs. Now they'll set it up again for Collett at the net, and she just hammers that one down, gets the kill, and it's set point 24-22. The Mustangs with the lead. Again, the Rebels won the first two sets easily, 25-10, 25-9. And they brought in about a half JV squad in there, and the Mustangs win set 2, 25-22 on the unit title scoreboard. That's some good game experience, though, varsity game experience there for several of those Lady Rebels. Well, Rebels took the first set 25-10 and second set 25-9, but lose the third set 25-22. We'll be back with the fourth set here in just a bit on a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and watch it online at kadqradio.com.
Precious time cannot be recovered once lost, said the famous Jack Sparrow. Don't lose time driving extra miles when the dental services you need are available right here in Evanston. Do you need a root canal? Do you need your wisdom teeth pulled? Are you missing teeth and want a full and perfect smile? Do you need braces? All of these services are available from our specialists right here in Evanston. This is oral surgeon A.J. Stosich inviting you to join me and my associates. Call today to schedule an appointment at 307-789-5608. That's 307-789-5608. Save your precious time.
Welcome back to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3 and watch it online at kadqradio.com. The Rebels won the first two sets easily, 25-10 and 25-9 on the unit title scoreboard. In set 3, Coach Cindy Stewart put in about a half-and-half JV/varsity team, and they trailed most of the way. They were down 23-15 and roared back into it, made it close 23-22, but then lost that third set 25-22. Now the full varsity team back in there for the Rebels, and we'll see if it takes them a few minutes to warm back up. We've got Hopkin, Peart, Huffner, Lloyd, Lamborn, and Brown on the floor. You got to like the fight in there for the Rebel JV squad as they were down. I mean, it was the Mustangs were knocking on the door, leading 23-15, but the Rebels didn't give up, fought back into it with that 7-0 run, but they just didn't quite have enough in them and lose the set 25-22. And you may, as others in the region see what happened here, they wonder how the Mustangs got the better of the Rebels in the third set. Well, here's the opening serve brought to you by the station in Randolph. A quick point for the Rebels as they set it up in the push over into the hole, and the Rebels lead 1-0 on the unit title scoreboard. And they'll send Danielle Huffner back to serve. Peterson checks into that front row along with Lamborn and Hopkin. And here's Huffner to the back row. Pass up front, or pass up high. They'll set it up now for Burnside, the big hit, and she's just mistimes it. Hits it into the net, and the Rebels lead 2-0 on the unit title scoreboard. Huffner back to serve again for the Rebels. This time in this fourth set, serving right to left, and Huffner serve into the net. So it's 2-1. Rebel lead is cut in half on the unit title scoreboard after that serve into the net as Ashley Kinder goes back to serve for the Mustangs, serving left to right from straight away. And she serves to Lloyd. Lloyd passes up front. Peart sets it up for Lamborn here on the outside. Hit across to the middle. Now the Mustangs will set it up, and Collett hits to the back row. Lloyd passes. Now Peart sets it up for Lamborn. The big hit across court. Perfect placement on the line on the far side. She hits from this near side right at the antenna to that far side, and this hammers it home for the kill, and the Rebels lead 3-1 on the unit title scoreboard. Cornea checks in now, and she'll go back to serve for Rich High. Cornea from the far right side and serves far to the back line. Mustangs kind of hesitant to play it or not. They do, and I think it would have landed just on that back line anyway. It's shanked to that east wall, and the Rebels get the point, leading 4-1 on the unit title scoreboard. Cornea again to the same spot on the back row, passed up front, and the set goes over the net. Peart will set. Now Cornea sets it again for Lamborn, who goes up high and just slams it down. Boy, nobody's getting to that one. It's 5-1. Rebels with the lead on the unit title scoreboard. When Lamborn gets that nice set, boy, she's got some power. Here's Cornea to the backside, just a bit long on that far back corner. And it's 5-2. Rebels with the lead on the Unititle scoreboard. And Ashley Hollinger back to serve. Hollinger, left to right, serves. Ooh, on that back line. She just found it in there. Rebels thought it was long. They let it go, and it's on the line. So 5-3. Rebels with the lead on the Unititle scoreboard. And here's Hollinger again. If you're watching online at KADQradio.com, she's serving left to right. Here's Lloyd. Pass, and Lamborn will set it up for Peart. Hit down the line. Mustangs are there. And Collett. And Collett goes up high and just puts a roof on Melanie Peterson. Or Christina Peterson, excuse me. And the Mustangs get the point. It's 6-4 on the Unititle scoreboard. As Camry Burnside goes back to serve. Floater serve. Lamborn passes up front. Cornea sets it for Peart. Peart is blocked by Collett, and it's 6-5 on the Unititle scoreboard. Rebels trying to warm back up as the varsity team sat out most of that third set. And now Burnside again to serve. Lloyd passes up front to Cornea. Cornea sets it up for Lloyd. Lloyd's hit to the back row. Set up. They'll set it up for Hughes. Hughes the hit into the net. Just got up a little bit high on it and just slams it into the net. And the Rebel lead is now 7-5 on the Unititle scoreboard as Danielle Huffner checks in. Lilia Brown also in there. Brown back to serve. And the Rebels lead 7-5 on the Unititle scoreboard. Here's Brown to the back row, and it's tipped by Kinder. And just kind of skips off her arms back to the padding on the east wall. And the Rebels lead 8-5 on the Unititle scoreboard as Brown goes back to serve again from the far side. Serving right to left. If you're watching online at KADQradio.com, Kinder passes up front. No, that's Collett who passed it up front. Back to Collett for the tip over the blockers and into the hole of the Rebel defense. And it's 8-6 on the Unititle scoreboard. Manila Mustangs keeping this one close early in set number 4. Collett back to serve now for the Lady Mustangs and goes to the back row. Peart pushes up front. The set by Cornea for Peart. The big hit, and nice job by Burnside to keep that one in the air. Now the hit into the corner. Lamborn dives. Cornea trying to get there, and the dive by Lamborn, she hit it straight up into the air, and Cornea would have had to just run right over the top of Lamborn to get to it. She couldn't quite play it, and the ball falls to the Rebel side of the floor, and it's 8-7. Mustangs down by just 1 on the Unititle scoreboard. Lamborn passes up front. Cornea sets it for Peart. Coming in strong. Blocked back to the Rebels. Cornea will set it up again for Peart, and she'll just tip it over the blockers. They blocked her once. She's not going to let that happen a second time in a row, and she tips it over to the floor, and the Rebels lead 9-7 on the Unititle scoreboard. And now Peart back to serve. Peart, the running jump serve. Good, strong serve down the line. Passed up by Hughes, and now Kinder will just have to bump it over. Lamborn pass up front. Peart will set for Lloyd on this near side. Big hit, but the Mustangs are there. They'll set it up right in the middle for Kinder. Kinder will tip, and it's just out of bounds in front of the Rebel bench on that far side. Just a bit wide, and the Rebels lead 10-7 on the Unititle scoreboard. Here's Peart again to the back row, and a poor serve receive by Burnside. She shanks it into the near side stands, and the Rebels lead 11-7 on the Unititle scoreboard. It's a 3-0 run and counting for the Rebels as Peart goes to serve again. Passed up high by Hughes. Now they'll set it up for Kinder. Kinder at the net. Rebels are there. Hopkin will set for Lloyd. Lloyd push into the corner. Beautiful placement by Reagan Lloyd. Nobody could get there. Nice court vision, and she just pushed it right into the corner. And the Rebels lead 12-7 on the Unititle scoreboard. Lloyd looking like Lamborn there. She pushed that perfect placement into the corner. Hughes the high pass, and Mustangs struggling a little bit. Kinder will just have to bump it over. Now Peart will set it up for Huffner. Huffner, the nice hit right there in front of Hollinger, and Hollinger can't get underneath it to keep it in the air. And it's 13-7, Rebels with the lead on the Unititle scoreboard here in set number 4. Peart back to serve again, and this one into the net. She just didn't hit it how she wanted to, and that 5-0 run comes to an end. And the Rebels now lead 13-8 on the Unititle scoreboard. Serve goes to Lloyd. Lloyd passes to Peart. Peart sets it up for Lloyd. The hit tipped by the blockers. It's tipped high, but into a hole in the Mustang defense right in the middle of the floor in front of the net. And the Rebels get the quick side out and get the serve back, leading 14-8 on the Uinta scoreboard. Lloyd serves to the back row, and Collett will pass it up front. They'll set it up, and Hollinger will just push it over. Now Peart will set a back set for Hopkin. Had a good hit, but hit it a bit long, out of bounds, and the Rebels lead 14-9 on the Uinta scoreboard as Hughes will go back to serve. Set number 4, Rebels won the first 2 sets pretty easily. Had a JV squad in for most of that, mostly a JV squad in for the 3rd set. As Lamborn pushes it down the line, Mustangs keep it alive. Radosevic, now they bump it back over, and the Rebels, Peart will set it up for Lamborn, who'll go up and hammer it. Blockers are there, and they'll keep it up, keep it in the air. Now Burnside will push it down the line. Lloyd passes up front. Peart will set for Lamborn, who pushes it, again trying to find that hole. The pass into the net, bump under the net, back out into the stands, and the Mustangs can't keep it in the air. Rebels get the point, leading 15-9 on the Uinta scoreboard. And Whitley Weston will check in for Danielle Huffner. Weston going back to serve. Rebels leading 2-1 in the match rather. And we're in set number 4. Weston, nice serve. The pass goes over the net. Now the Rebels will set it up for Lamborn. A dive by the Mustangs to keep it alive. Now Hopkins tips it right back over, and the Mustangs will set it up for Burnside, who tips it through the Rebel blockers to the floor, and it's 15-10 on the Uinta scoreboard. Mustangs will send Kinder back to serve. Kinder from straight away, going left to right. If you're watching online at kadqradio.com and did not hit that house you wanted to, hit it down low. It didn't even make it to the net. And it's 16-10 Rebels on the Uinta scoreboard. Andy Cornea checks in to serve. Cornea, nice serve. Kinder went down to get it, but didn't get underneath it much, and it's shanked off to the side, and the Rebels lead 17-10 on the Uinta scoreboard. Here's Cornea once again going to that back row. Pass way up high, and they'll set it up for Collett. Collett hits to the back row. Lloyd is there. Now Cornea will set it up for Peart. Nope, Lamborn will bump it over. Not a great set, and the Rebels just bump it over. Now the set again for Collett. Hit into the net, and the Rebels will get the point. 18-10, Rebels lead on the Uinta scoreboard. As Cornea back again to serve. Goes back row. Kinder, nice pass up front. They'll set it up for, to Burnside in the middle. Blocked by the Rebels. Set again, and they'll bump it up high for Burnside. Tipped by the Rebel blockers and tipped to the floor. And the Mustangs will get the point. Rebels lead 18-11 on the Uinta scoreboard. And it looks like it'll be Hollinger going back to serve for the Lady Mustangs. Hollinger hits it into the net. Not a great serve, and she comes walking away, showing some frustration there as the Rebels now lead 19-11 on the Uinta scoreboard, and Cammie Lamborn back to serve. Bumped up high, and now set up high, and then Collett just pushes it up front. Cornea sets it for Peart on this near side. The big hit down the line is long. She hammered that one pretty good, but hit it a bit long, and the Rebel lead is cut to 20-12 on the Uinta scoreboard. And Camry Burnside will go back to serve for the Lady Mustangs. Burnside serving left to right, skips across the top of the net and out of bounds. That one just right here in front of this head official, the up official, and the Rebels lead 21-12 on the Uinta scoreboard. And it looks like Brown will check in for Melanie Lamborn, who was in there for a few minutes. Brown will serve and just clears the net. A beautiful, strong serve. And Hollinger shanks it into this near side stands. Boy, that one was clear up about the top row by the time it found the stands. As a good, strong serve by Brown, and the Rebels lead 22-12 in the 4th set. Rebels leading 2-1, and this serve just skips across the top of the net. The net takes away all of its momentum, and it just dies to the floor. It's 23-12, Rebels with the lead on the Uinta scoreboard here in set 2. Rebels lead 2-1 in the match, and we got a timeout on the floor. We'll take a quick one as well, and we'll be back with more on a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ-FM 98.3 and watch online at kadqradio.com.
Precious time cannot be recovered once lost, said the famous Jack Sparrow. Don't lose time driving extra miles when the dental services you need are available right here in Evanston. Do you need a root canal? Do you need your wisdom teeth pulled? Are you missing teeth and want a full and perfect smile? Do you need braces? All of these services are available from our specialists right here in Evanston. This is oral surgeon A.J. Stosich inviting you to join me and my associates. Call today to schedule an appointment at 307-789-5608. That's 307-789-5608. Save your precious time.
Rebels serve, and the Mustangs get it back over. Rebels bump it back over. Mustangs having a little bit of trouble keeping it alive and keeping it in the air, and it's into the net. Rebels with a set point, leading 24-12, and Brown back to serve here in set 4. It's set and match point. Passed up high. Now set up by Radosevic. Collett hits it over. A dive by Brown to keep it in the air, and the Rebels set it up back row for Lamborn. Passed up high by the Mustangs. It's off the ceiling, and the fourth hit was what it would have taken to get it over, and the Rebels win 25-12, and that is the match. Rebels get the victory on the Uinta scoreboard, 25-12 in set number 4. Rebels took the first set 25-10, second set 25-9. They put in a mixed JV squad on the third set and lost a close one 25-22, and then dominate in set number 4, 25-12 on the Uinta scoreboard. And if you're watching online at kadqradio.com, it looks like the Mustang scorekeeper is ready to get out of here. He shut that scoreboard off before we could even see the final score. It's a good thing I had it written down. But the Rebels win in 3-1. They win in 4 sets over the Manila Mustangs here at Manila. Stay tuned. Our post-game show is coming up. We'll visit with head coach Cindy Stewart on a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ 98.3 FM, and watch these matches online at kadqradio.com.
Throughout our lives, there are times we may need skilled rehabilitation and nursing care or home health and hospice care. Rocky Mountain Care has been providing these services since 1990. Our skilled staff and specialized programs will meet your loved one's needs. Our staff is dedicated to a high-quality outcome for each of our patients and residents. When you or someone you love needs these professional services, think of Rocky Mountain Care. Simply the best care. www.rmcare.com.
For over 100 years, Union Telephone has been providing phone service to small communities, places the big guys simply ignored. We were helping our neighbors stay connected to the rest of the country. Times have changed and technology has evolved. Union has been there the entire way. Today, we still keep people connected in more ways and places than ever before. Union Wireless, treating you like a neighbor, not a number.
Long lines and slow traffic. Gas prices on the rise? Save yourself a trip to the big city by stopping first at Cowboy Motor Company. You no longer have to get out of Dodge to find the best deals on vehicles. Cowboy Motor Company has them in stock. Expanding inventory and plenty of money available for lending, you can now get into Dodge at Cowboy Motor Company. Strength, honesty, and integrity. The Cowboy way. Cowboy Motor Company, 100 Wasatch Road in Evanston.
Precious time cannot be recovered once lost, said the famous Jack Sparrow. Don't lose time driving extra miles when the dental services you need are available right here in Evanston. Do you need a root canal? Do you need your wisdom teeth pulled? Are you missing teeth or want a full and perfect smile? Do you need braces? All of these services are available from our specialists right here in Evanston. This is endodontist Les Walker inviting you to join me and my associates. Call today to schedule an appointment at 307-789-5608. That's 307-789-5608. Save your precious time.
Welcome back to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball here on KADQ FM 98.3 and online at kadqradio.com. The Rebels victorious today here at Manila. They won the first 2 sets easily, 25-10 and 25-9 on the Uinta scoreboard. Set number 3 was a different story. Rebels coach Cindy Stewart wanted to get some varsity time for some of her JV players, and the Rebels lost 25-22. in that third set, but she put the varsity girls back in. It was mainly Peart, Huffner, and Lamborn that went back in that fourth set, and they dominated 25-12. Coming up to join us now is Rebel coach Cindy Stewart here in the interview.
Last night, and that third game, we just wanted to get some next year's kids playing some playing time and see what we had to look at for next year. And I really did think that that team could beat Manila. I thought they could beat that third game, but they came back. They got down and came back, so they felt good about that.
That's good. It was fun to watch them play down. They were down 23-15, and they battled back in there. Just didn't quite have enough.
Christina Peterson, she has a great serve. She makes our varsity hustle every day in class. I mean, in practice. So I knew she could do it if they'll just serve like they do in practice.
I thought Reagan Lloyd during that third set had a couple of the best kills that I've seen her all
year,
season. Yeah.
All season. So if nothing else, maybe it gave Reagan some good confidence because we know she can. She just has a little tweak with her arm. She hits wrist away a lot, so we're trying to get her to reach forward, and she did get on 2 good balls in that game.
Were Cammie and Ellen and Danielle a little bit antsy over there sitting on the bench?
They hate that. They haven't set out one game. So,
right.
But I usually do that this game here. It's our last region game. We had the region championship sold up, and I thought it might make the varsity hustle a little bit if we did drop it. But I really did think our JV kids could pick that one up.
They were right there with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was a fun match. Thanks for joining us. And now next week, you guys are Thursday at Mountain Crest. And is Mountain Crest, are they 3A or 4A?
4A.
4A. So that's really playing up for you guys.
Yeah. We always try to play someone really, really good at the end of our season, getting ready for state.
And that's Thursday night. And
at Mountain Crest.
You'll have a freshman match, JV match, and a varsity.
Sophomore JV varsity. Yeah.
Oh, so 4 matches?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
It'll be good for all your players.
All 4 levels. Yeah.
Great.
So it's fun.
Great. And then wrap up the season next Friday, the regular season against North Summit.
Yeah.
So how do you feel like the girls are playing as you get toward this just last couple of matches and headed toward the state tournament in a week and a half?
I think they're really gaining a lot of confidence in each other, and they got the rhythm going. We're playing those 2 different offenses, and so when we don't need a down the line block, we run at 6-2 because they like that one more because Ellen gets to set.
Okay.
And she likes to touch the ball and have a lot more energy. But so I think they've learned the ins and outs of both offenses, and they're really getting used to each other, and I think that we're ready. And we'll see how this Mountain Crest game goes, though.
With those 2 different offenses, are you just going to kind of rotate between the 2 of them during a match based on who's in there and where the rotation is?
Based on the opponent, mostly.
Okay.
If we have an opponent that hits down the line, we can't really run the 5-1 because our little setters we're doing the 6-2 in the first place.
Okay.
But has a lot of pros and cons to both of them, so we'll have to see.
All right. Well, thanks again for joining us here for the post-game interview, and good luck next Thursday. We'll see you there at Mountain Crest.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you. That's Coach Cindy Stewart of the Lady Rebels and our post-game interview with Coach Cindy Stewart. And this is a Big O Tire of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ FM 98.3. You can watch these matches online at KADQradio.com. We've got a little bit more of our post-game coming up. We'll take a look ahead at what the Rebels have in store in the coming week for both the volleyball and the football team. So stay tuned for more of our post-game show here on a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich High Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ 98.3 FM, and watch these matches online at KADQradio.com.
Throughout our lives, there are times we may need skilled rehabilitation and nursing care or home health and hospice care. Rocky Mountain Care has been providing these services since 1990. Our skilled staff and specialized programs will meet your loved one's needs. Our staff is dedicated to a high-quality outcome for each of our patients and residents. When you or someone you love needs these professional services, think of Rocky Mountain Care. Simply the best care. www.rmcare.com.
For over 100 years, Union Telephone has been providing phone service to small communities, places the big guys simply ignored. We were helping our neighbors stay connected to the rest of the country. Times have changed and technology has evolved. Union has been there the entire way. Today, we still keep people connected in more ways and places than ever before. Union Wireless, treating you like a neighbor, not a number.
Welcome back to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ-FM 98.3, and watch the matches online at KADQRadio.com. Time now to take a look ahead at what's in store for the Lady Rebel Volleyball team and for the Rich Rebel football team, and that takes us into next week when the Rebel Volleyball team, they'll be in action first on Thursday night, as we talked about with Coach Stewart just moments ago. Rebels will play at Mountain Crest, and there will be four matches. The freshman team will play against the freshmen, obviously. The sophomores will play, the JVs will play, and the varsity teams will play. So we'll be on air with our pregame at 7:15 next Thursday night, October 24th, as the Rebels play at Mountain Crest. First serve is scheduled for 7:30 on Thursday night. Then on Friday, it's a busy day as the Rebel football team wraps up the regular season hosting Diamond Ranch. And we'll have our pregame here on KADQ at 3:20. Kickoff is scheduled for 4 p.m. Directly after that football game, we'll run into the Rich High School gym as the Rebels host North Summit. And pregame's at 6:45. Or just directly following that football game. First serve is scheduled for 7 p.m., so we'll get on with from the football to the volleyball just as quickly as we can. And that's what the Rebels have coming up in the next week for the Rich High Rebel football and volleyball teams. It's coming down to crunch time. Also coming up this next week, the Rebel cross-country team will be at the state cross-country meet, which is in Salt Lake City, and 5 Rebels qualified for that cross-country meet. So that's coming up this next week, and we'll catch up with the Rebel cross-country coach Louis Stewart and get an update on that during the next week. Well, the Rebels, again, get the victory here this afternoon at Manila High School, 25-10, 25-9 on the Uinta scoreboard in the first 2 sets. And then in the third set, again, Rebels put in some JV players and trying to get that game time experience, varsity game experience for the JV players. They came back and made it close, but lost 25-22 in the third set. And the varsity took care of business coming back in the fourth set, 25-12 on the Uinta scoreboard. And the Rebels win in 4 sets over the Manila Mustangs here at Manila High School. You've been listening to the post-game show and a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ-FM 98.3 and online at KADQRadio.com. This has been a sports production and sports broadcast of Old West Media Incorporated and Cook Brothers Broadcasting. No portion of this production can be used or rebroadcast without express written consent of Old West Media Incorporated. Once again, our final score this afternoon on the Uinta scoreboard, Rebels win 3-1, 25-10, 25-9. They lost set 3, 25-22, but took set 4, 25-12 to win the match. Join us again on Thursday, October 24th, this coming Thursday, when the Rebel volleyball team plays at Mountain Crest. It's a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of our Rebels at Mountain Crest, and we'll be on the air with you at 7:15. First serve is scheduled for 7:30. Until then, go Rebels.
You've been listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich High School Lady Rebel Volleyball on KADQ-FM 98.3 with video online at KADQRadio.com. Today's match has been brought to you by these Rebel supporting businesses and individuals. Cowboy Motor Company, save a horse, buy from Cowboy. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Castle Rock Chevrolet, we are Chevrolet. Wyoming Dental Specialists. Rocky Mountain Care, simply the best care. Today's starting lineups were brought to you by Stacy's Repair in Woodruff. The beginning serve of each set was brought to you by The Station in Randolph, and your scoreboard sponsor for today's broadcast was Uinta. Thank you for listening to a Big O Tires of Evanston presentation of Rich High Rebel Sports on KADQ-FM 98.3 and online at KADQRadio.com.